Disclaimer, we are not discouraging anybody from going towards medicine.
If you're gonna do something else, you need to do it now.
Such a learning curve.
Yeah, being out of state is different. It's different. I was dead ass about to graduate. That girl that I interviewed with was hiring specifically for a woman of color. So like the stars.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a highly anticipated video and I clearly have a very special guest with me. So we're gonna do intros. Of course, you guys already know me because you're subscribed. I'm Lizzie.
I'm Krystal.
And we are... No, I'm just kidding. So in this video, we are pretty much going to be discussing our transitions and our journeys because they're similar, but they're very different as far as how we transition from medicine to anything business, tech, or entertainment related. Y'all was asking questions.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give the people what they want. I guess we'll start by saying what it is we currently do, where we currently work, and then we'll jump into the questions because a lot of that encompasses like our journeys and stuff like that.
I'm Krystal again. I work at HBO on their creative marketing team as a coordinator. And I've been there since August, so like 7-8 months.
I'm Lizzie, and I am an analytics business partner liaison for IBM. I've been working at IBM since October of 2018.
Cool.
So as far as our journeys, for me, I transitioned the summer going into my senior year. And I have like a whole like series video on how I transitioned and things of that nature. But long story short, in summary, I was feeling as if I had like other talents and gifts that I could be doing, and just looking at the longevity of what it would take to be an orthopedic surgeon, because that's what I wanted to do. And that's a lot of school. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. Disclaimer, we are not discouraging anybody from going towards medicine. If that's what your heart desires and you truly have passion towards it, like by all means go with it. But after a while, I was just thinking back on what it is that I'm good at. Like, yes, I made good grades in medicine, but as far as the lifestyle, is that what I would want for myself? Because if I had 0 breaks, I wouldn't be done till I was like 28, 29. So just thinking about like sacrificing your 20s, the student loans that would come up, that was my decision process in my mind. So I transitioned, didn't have any experience, literally created a LinkedIn page that summer, went to my advisor, changed my schedule. I changed from a bio major with a chemistry minor to integrative studies, which is like 3-in-1, kind of like general studies. And that way I wouldn't lose any credit. So I graduated with a BA in integrative studies with a focus in business, bio, and biochem. And so the whole senior year, I was pretty much just marketing myself through word of mouth and going to job interviews and going to like, what do you call those networking?
Networking, recruiting events?
Oh, it's like recruiting events.
Yes.
Yeah,
when recruiters come to your school,
yeah,
and like everyone comes to like a seminar or like conference.
Yeah, and they have like a bunch of vendor booths.
Yeah. And
you go like to each one and you talk to them and you try to just advertise
networking
yourself.
fair.
A career fair.
Career fair.
Career fair. No,
yes,
legit.
Yes.
So I would go to those and I would just market myself based on the experiences that I had. So if I was interested in like data and analytics, which I'm currently in a role that applies towards analytics, then I would mention the research that I did as far as medicine, because everyone in medicine does some type of research, labs, recitations, and stuff like that. So I would use that and kind of twist the words so that it would be marketable. I applied to my job in September of 2017. I got my job offer in April of 2018, and my start date was October of 2018. So it was like a full year, but I was able to walk the stage May of 2018 knowing where I was gonna go, like what I was gonna be doing. So yeah.
Man. Yeah. Well, for me, that was like the #1 question that I got the most was how exactly I got the job at HBO. But back in college, the reason why I decided to switch career paths was just I was originally going into dentistry and I still love it. Like my sister's a dentist and my oldest sister's a doctor. So I ask them questions all the time related to like their fields, and like it's something that I've always genuinely just liked, but I just didn't have that much of a passion for it as I went through college. And even like the dentist I was shadowing, he noticed that like as time went on that I just wasn't as interested, and he's the one that like kind of pushed me, and he was like, if you're gonna do something else, you need to do it now before you go to dental school and just legit throw your life, not throw your life away, but like go forth and do something for years that you don't want to do and then end up looking back and just regretting the entire experience. And so he told me this in my senior year, spring semester, 2 months before I was supposed to graduate. And so one, it was too late to change my major. And so I was just kind of at a standstill. I didn't really know what to do. It was just a lot of emotions. So I just kind of had to reel myself back, and I was like, okay, what are some steps that I need to take in order to just not go into the medical field? And one of those was getting on LinkedIn. And I have to say, before anything, LinkedIn saved my life. So
legit, LinkedIn's the GOAT.
And it's not just LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn Premium. It's $30 a month, child. Ooh, it's $30.
If you have the premium, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, all of that. You have access literally to talk to whoever you want.
Man, that thing
instead of just clicking follow, you can even connect.
You can connect, send messages. You can find like just information about people that you can't with regular LinkedIn. When I started applying to jobs, like I kind of broke it down to like what I wanted to go into, which was entertainment, marketing, or tech. And then I just wrote down a list, and like that list had like maybe 100 companies on it. And like my top 10 companies were like huge companies like Google's and like Facebook's and like Netflix's. And then like I kind of just like ranked it down from there. As I started applying to jobs, I didn't really know where to look. I didn't know what roles I even wanted to do. And what I like to do is like creating content, just ideation and bringing things to light and telling a story with a given set of tools. And so I looked to companies.
You're so cute. That's why she my wife, bro. I'm about to build this empire.
And so with that list, I went and like I researched each, this is a long story, but I researched each career website. Yeah.
We have time.
I researched each site, each company's career website, and I saw which teams they had. And then once I saw like what teams I was interested in, I went back to LinkedIn and I searched those teams, and I saw which people were on those teams, and I just, you know, kind of gauged what their career paths were. And then I started messaging those people, reaching out to those people, and just trying to go from there, because I found that with applying to jobs, my application would just go into a black hole because I didn't have any experience, I didn't have the major, and I didn't even like live in a city that had like an entertainment industry. Like I'm from Dallas, and so the jobs that I was primarily looking at were in New York and LA. So I was applying to jobs, and I ended up maybe emailing like 300 people in like maybe like the span of like 2 months, because I was dead ass about to graduate. And mind you, I had already taken like the dental school admissions exam. Like my parents thought that I was applying to school. Like
exactly.
I told my parents I had already applied to dental school. They thought I was ready to just
not your parents. And can you imagine heartbreak?
Anyway, so I was still going. I graduate, still don't have a job, and so I have to tell my parents that I didn't apply to dental school. Bro, they were so mad. I'm Nigerian, okay? They were so mad. Hold on, I just need to take a sip, bro. Like, what?
What would we do?
I don't know. They were so mad, but tears were shed, things were thrown, and I'm reaching out to people again, and this one girl, she works at HBO. She emailed me back, and they didn't have any roles open at the time, but we had an email exchange, and that didn't really lead up to anywhere. And then in December, like I did some research on LinkedIn, and I found out that one of the vice presidents on the West Coast went to my school. And so I was like, okay, this girl is gonna be my way in. And I had read an article about her as well before I called her, that she also wanted to go into the medical field but didn't. And so I reiterated that on my voicemail. I was like, look, we were basically in the same place at one point in our lives, so I'm just trying to see what you did. And so I hung up, and like a couple days later, she reaches back out to me saying that like she loved my voicemail, would love to chat. We ended up getting on the phone, have a lovely conversation, and she is like, you know what, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna write a letter to the HR team in New York and let's just see what happens. So I hang up and I don't hear from her for like 6 months.
6 months later.
I get a message from the girl I talked to back in October that had already worked on HBO's marketing team. And she says, hey, check your inbox. Like, the recruiter should be reaching out to you soon. And I'm like, so I get an interview invitation and I'm like, I'm very hyped, and I end up going through the interview process. And during my second interview, I interviewed with that girl from HBO's marketing team, and I ended up finding out that that letter ended up making its way over there. And that girl that I interviewed with was hiring specifically for a woman of color. So like the stars, hey, they just aligned. But nah, I'm not even gonna front with y'all, like it was a lot of luck. Like I don't know what God wanted, what I did to deserve this, but God really looked out for me during this whole process. And there were some times where I would just sit in my room and just cry because I just thought I wasn't gonna get anywhere. I thought I was gonna disappoint my parents. I thought I would maybe just have to force myself to go to dental school. So yeah, that's basically how I got the job at HBO.
So what is it that I currently do and how am I enjoying it? Currently, as I had mentioned, I'm an analytics business partner liaison. What does that encompass? So the product that we're focusing on is Planning Analytics, which is like a software tool to help you forecast. Our target audience would be like financial directors and CFOs and things of that nature. So anyone who needs to use Excel or like numbers, they deal with numbers and they want to figure out like the budget for their business or the budget for a certain department. And so there's different softwares such as like Planning Analytics, as mentioned, there's Cognos, there's Watson Studios, machine learning. SPSS is probably going over y'all's head, but these are all like the IBM related technologies that all fall under the umbrella of analytics. And I think analytics is really interesting and cool just because like as a user experience, being able to take data from the past, create a personalized experience in the present, and then forecast what is needed or predict what's gonna happen in your future. I'm able to travel and go on site to the client's office or like their headquarters with my business partner, but essentially my role is to bridge that gap between a business partner and IBM. So I am like the liaison that's gonna help the inside sellers and the business partner in order to help the transactional sale. I feel like I am learning so much in this current role. And yes, I was able to have the opportunity when I got hired. I worked out of the Dallas office for 6 months through like global sales school. And then right after that 6 months, my next 9 months, I moved to Chicago and I worked there. And that was such a learning curve. Such a learning curve.
Yeah, being out of state is different. It's different.
People move different. Yeah. And especially when you go to a larger city, like she's in New York, I was in Chicago, and I did move back. So I was in Chicago, and that's like the third largest city. So literally that office across the street, you see Deloitte. Down the street, you can go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Accenture. Like we're walking distance from all these different locations. So you expand and build your network beyond just your immediate coworkers. And you end up finding friends within all of these different businesses and companies and things of that. So I thought that was really cool. How would I say that I'm enjoying the experience? I love it. I think it has been an up and down roller coaster, not gonna lie. Me personally, I've had an experience, but I would say that I've learned so much throughout my journey, and I've been able to increase my bandwidth. So now I'm like, the way I would learn at school, for me, is so different from how I learn on the job for work, because technology is just like a different beast. Yeah. Regardless if you've been with the company for like 20 or 10 or 30 years, or you just started, you've been there like 1 to 2 years, you are always gonna be a student. You're always gonna be learning because there's new technology that comes out. And so you have to be okay with constantly learning.
Yeah, learning in college, you have time to study. Learning in corporate America, you learn while doing something else. You have to retain the information, and if you forget it, you just gotta keep learning until it just sticks in your head.
So how are you currently enjoying your role?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, like HBO, it's pretty much college all over again. Learning everything about what goes on in the entertainment industry has been such a learning experience. I'm not gonna lie, I've cried like at least 3-4 times, like, because I was just so overwhelmed with how much there was to learn that I didn't think I'd measure up, or I didn't think I'd perform well. So I just really thank God that I have like awesome coworkers and like friends and peers who like are willing to extend a helping hand. But overall, like, it's been incredible. How do you describe it? Like, it's like you finally get what you want, and then like, I just underestimated how much work.
Oh yeah, no, that happens. That happened to me. Yeah.
So it definitely like, it's a shock. Like, I think any job that you get, like, you underestimate like actually how much you have to really learn. And that like just goes to show that everything you learn in college, like, you don't use it.
It's textbook.
It's just
it's curriculum based.
You really just have to get the experience. So yeah, HBO has been fun. It's been a lot of tears, a lot of laughs, and I'm just enjoying myself. So yeah,
I love to hear it.
Yeah.